There's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Martin Green. Eurovision 2025.
I got a new video. Alesia Michelle.
Hey girl.
I'm ready to go.
How you feeling?
Eurovision fan.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the show?
It's 2025.
We gotta keep it real. Let's go.
Hey, it's Alesia Michelle. If you've never been to my channel before, welcome. If you love the Eurovision Song Contest, this is your opportunity to like this video and to subscribe. Well, I love a list, you love a list, and whenever you get anything new started, it's kind of nice to have a list, to help yourself get through all the pieces because there's so many things happening in the world. And if you have a solid list, you might be able to tackle some of those things one step at a time. So here are my 5 things I think our new ESC director should do. Now, okay, Martin Green has a very long resume. I mean, this is somebody who is skilled in the arena of running these large-scale kinds of shows. As we know, the Eurovision Song Contest has evolved. It is this big global phenomena. And the team that we probably had before, no shade to them, but they probably needed some help, okay? You need some internal on-staff people to really help you navigate these spaces because, Eurovision isn't just a week in May anymore. Eurovision really is all year round. Sorry, I have to tell you, it's all year round. And that's a really large undertaking. And so I think it is actually a really good thing that the Eurovision powers to be recognized the fact that they needed to have some additional on-staff support. This is not like consultants you're working with who aren't really in-house. You really do need someone who is a part of your culture, who is able to be there year-round to help make sure that this show gets off the ground. And runs as smoothly as it possibly can run. So I know that Martin is a pro at this. Martin is a pro, so I hope no one takes this as, I don't think you know what you're doing. But these are just 5 things that I think we need to get the ball rolling with, because some of the stuff hasn't really happened yet. And I'm like, we had the announcement. It's been over a week, so we need to make sure we get some of this stuff going, because y'all got to reclaim this narrative, okay? It is your narrative. It is your song contest, and you got to reclaim it and make it very clear what you plan to do to forge ahead. So the first thing that I will say in my 5 things that I think our new Eurovision Song Contest director should do, we need to get this guy prepped immediately, and he needs to be doing press interviews regularly. I would have this man on the ground for at least, 2-3 weeks, going to different broadcasters from around Europe to sit down and talk to them. Yes, I am saying sit down, talky interviews, not Zoom. I want you there in person, okay? And some of you might be thinking, okay, well, Alesia, that's budget. We've got flights and tickets. But the thing is, you really need to reclaim this narrative. You need to say, we are in charge. We've got a new sheriff in town. This is the guy. We need to start having him build relationships with some of these broadcasters on the ground, IRL, in real life. So that is like one of the first things that I would have him do. Honestly, I would already be having Martin hitting the ground, but maybe he needed more time to be prepped. Maybe we're still doing the onboarding. So maybe I'll give him until December, because we could do a nice little holiday roundabout. We could do that because FEEC will have started. So it's like, we've already got some national selections underway and blah, blah, blah. So maybe we could wait till December. Maybe we could even wait till January. But I really feel like the momentum is now. We did this splashy sort of press release. We said to the world that we've got a new guy in town. His name is Martin. Okay, Martin Green, Marty G. So we've got this new guy around. Let's start that relationship building. Let's build back a little bit of this trust, because Martin has the ability to sit down now with folks and really begin to inject a new narrative into the Eurovision space and pivot us away from the divisive and very emotionally charged narrative that was Eurovision 2024. You don't want that to drag over into 2025, so let's get this guy on the road. Next thing in my 5 things I think our new Eurovision director should do. I think when they first were announcing these new roles, we said, okay, we're going to have this new director. And then there was this role that was like this brand, kind of lead. So this person was not going to be, I think, director level. I think this person would either be parallel and like in a collegial relationship with the Eurovision supervisor, that being Martin Osterdahl, and or just subordinate, and maybe that person reports to Martin. I think the way that they said it, though, was the person would be reporting to the Eurovision director. So I would be hiring that person in that role immediately. I would want to get that person in before the holidays so that you secure this individual and we can start maximizing these brand relationships that you already have. And I think as a realistic goal, this person should be able to bring in at least 3 more brand deals and figure out some real collaborative partnerships with thoughtful broadcasters, with thoughtful internet digital brands, stuff like that. I would also be having them be in charge of our influencer and creator content strategy as well. I would be hiring this person. Why? Because you want someone who is going to honestly kind of justify their salary. And this role, this person will be able to justify their salary because it's like, hey, I was able to get this deal with insert X brand, that reaches X amount of people, and they are going to then be giving, let's just say $250K to Eurovision to partner with. And this is how we are going to maximize this brand relationship with them. We're going to make sure that they're doing XYZ on digital. They also have a relationship with XYZ celebrity or creator. We're going to be able to utilize that relationship. Like, I would be instantly hiring that brand person because look, and I am upset. Okay. I am hot pissed because y'all know I love a cruise. Okay. And this is not even product placement. I go on cruises. I used to work on a cruise ship. Okay. Y'all know I love a cruise. You've seen the social medias. This is unsponsored. And that's the sad part. It should be sponsored. Because do you know how much money I have given Royal Caribbean over the course of my life? Just the course of the last year? Okay. How much money I have given them, and you can't give me a Eurovision cruise leaving from the port of Miami. You can't give me a Eurovision cruise leaving stateside. This is how you do me. This is how you do me. Okay, I digress. No, but for example, the Royal Caribbean partnership, it's good. Okay, I think it is great that they have a partnership. This idea of having these Eurovision themed cruises leaving from European ports, great idea. But guess what? Who are the godmoms of these boats? Probably somebody famous. Can we get those people doing a digital spot? Can that happen? Can that happen? I don't think that that's a crazy request. In our partnership agreement, do we have a quota of how many social media collaboration posts we do? Is that there? Also, are we working on some kind of back and forth promotion? Because let's be real, Royal Caribbean is a global brand. What are we doing a partnership for our Eurovision winners to help get them a little bit of exposure? These are the things that you want to bake in so that you can make sure when you're getting these agreements, it's not just like, hey, we got the sponsorship, we got the money, woohoo, we slapped their logo on something. We want to have thoughtful brand strategies curated and written out where it becomes a mutually beneficial relationship. It's mutually beneficial for the brand that is providing the funds, but then also it is mutually beneficial for the EBU, and not just getting what you need accomplished for this year's contest put together, but for future contests to come. Because here's the thing, there are certain brand deals that you kind of want to have, and you want to make sure that those are structured thoughtfully. Now, I am making wild assumptions here. I have not seen the brand deal contracts. Maybe all of that stuff is there. Maybe all of that stuff is there. But I'm going to venture to guess that It's not a lot of it there because you haven't had someone where this is really their role and this is the thing that they are responsible for driving through to the finish line. You probably had someone who had some other responsibilities on their plate doing this, and so they got the deal, they got the money, and then they're kind of like, okay, I've got to move on to the next thing on my plate. And that's no shade to that person. I have been the person on staff that is wearing like 5, 6 hats, okay? It happens to the best of organizations and the best of businesses, okay? It's not an unusual or Eurovision exclusive, manifestation. So I think now that they have this Eurovision director, I'm gonna need y'all to get that brand person. The other reason why it's important for us as fans for this brand thing to happen, because we want more countries able to participate at Eurovision. Eurovision is the best when we've got a ton of people on the stage, when we've got a ton of countries showing up and having the ability to tell their story, to share their culture and educate and put their artists out there for the world to meet. Okay, so how are we going to make that happen if it keeps costing so much money and we start losing countries that have the ability to compete? So this brand thing is something that we as fans of the Eurovision Song Contest should be curious about, should want to have happen in a streamlined, amazing way, because we want it to be cheaper for these countries to have to compete. Okay, that's what we want. So I would be hiring that brand role person quick. Okay? Just saying. Up next, we need to publicize the code of conduct. I know that there have been a couple of interviews. This Jean-Philippe guy, he's done some interviews where, I think I saw something where it's like, oh, we're going to have rooms where there's no filming. I'm like, let's be real. Like, nobody was filming in the bathroom. People didn't have to film in the dressing rooms. Like, people had to knock. You know what I mean? So, like, just having a room isn't really that much. Like, I want to applaud all the effort makes, all the effort is seen. Like, we appreciate it. But, we need that code of conduct published. We need it published. And the reason why we need it published is so you're going to have citizens arrests happening. Okay? It's just going to happen. At least give the citizens wanting to arrest the code of conduct to follow. So at least they're calling people out for things that are truly infractions. I think that this is something that'll protect the organization in the long run. Just publish the full code of conduct that delegations, participants have to follow, but employees have to follow. It's also an amazing CYA for you, EBU, to protect yourselves from undue things. This should not be, the code of conduct should not be something under lock and key. It really shouldn't. It should be something that is public. Again, I said we need to get Marty G on the circuit. Maybe we can release that code of conduct, and as Marty G is, on the circuit, he can have conversations with people. And it's like, yeah, we put that provision there because we think blah, blah, blah. You want to build a sense of trust. You got to reestablish that trust. You've got to reestablish a little bit of like, we are the adults in the room and we can handle this. And I think by putting that code of conduct out there, it makes it clear. And again, y'all might not even have to police people. It could make your job easier because there will be fans and fan media and maybe even some regular press. Maybe the regular press will wake up, the traditional media will wake up and actually decide to do some citizens arrests. Some citizens arrests. They'll be calling people out, hey, there's that infraction. But here's the thing. What could happen is if you don't publish it, then people think, well, did they even really make any changes? They're going to assume the worst, that maybe there weren't any changes made. Then you're going to have maybe people getting overzealous and calling out behavior that might not actually be an infraction. And they're thinking they're doing the right thing. They're living in their righteousness. And they're like, no, see, look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. And really, it's not. You don't want that to happen. So yeah, I just publish it. Throw it up on the website. Make it a link. Create a press release around it and go, hey, you all were calling us out about it. Well, here's the document. Here are the pages. Here are the things that we want people, and this is the standard that we are going to hold folks to. I say go for it. Next up, we need to immediately secure another sponsor. I know I kind of said this with hiring the brand deals person, but that provision really was hire the brand person. The next thing that I think Marty needs to do, I'm just calling him Marty. Hey, buddy. Hey, Marty G.
Marty G.
I really think we need to figure out some new partnership immediately. I think we need a new, big, splashy sponsor. I'm saying, in the States, they already have this partnership with Peacock. Okay, well, but in that partnership, can we require Peacock to do maybe 3 documentaries on the Eurovision Song Contest? Can we get 3 specials? Could we get and these could be fun things. These could be countdown shows. In the States, we had this series on VH1 years ago that was I Love the 80s series. I know the BBC has done several specials. They did This Is How You Win Eurovision sort of countdown thing. We need some fun additional content that we secure through another sponsor. And I just think it makes sense to maybe do a splashy sort of partnership. So it could even be, yes, we've re-upped this relationship with Peacock, but as a partnership, we are going to then be bringing, 3 to 4 specials outside of just the Eurovision shows. And these are pieces of specials that other broadcasts can take and use for their programming, but we need some other content. I think just that is coming from EBU headquarters. I know it's I just said y'all were already taxed on staff, and it's you want us to do another special, but see, that's why I'm saying let's do a partnership with a streaming service, or maybe even I would say Crooked Media. We have this media company that I think they started as a blog, and now they have a lot of podcasts and stuff, and they do some I'd say some digital news specials and things like that. I feel we need something fresh. We need something exciting. We need a new brand, and we need a new brand that is going to help push ultimately that EBU, but primarily that Eurovision brand, that Eurovision narrative. We need additional alternative programming that represents the Eurovision Song Contest outside of the shows. It could even be a thing of, Eurovision, the title I just came up with, Eurovision doesn't start in May. And maybe it's a whole documentary special detailing the national selection season, because there are even Eurovision fans who watch the big show who don't even realize that some of these the scale of some of these national selections. That's something you could put Christian on. Christian, are you employed right now? Who are you working for right now? No, serious. This is no shade. Would you be down to produce something? You'd be good at it. You'd be good at it. So we need something like that. We need a new sponsor, something flashy. And finally, the next thing we really need to do now that we have our new Eurovision director, Marty G, we need to have our communications team have a very tight content calendar for the next 8-9 weeks. We need a content calendar where it is we are going to have a story every single week. We've got to figure out who our hosts are going to be in Switzerland, because that can be a part of the strategy too. We need a real content calendar and strategy to begin that narrative and pivot. And this cannot be a passive plan. This cannot be, we're just kind of amplifying the pieces that are coming out of the individual broadcasters. This needs to be a EBU Eurovision Song Contest communications team content calendar of what are the bits of news that we have coming out each week. Because again, I'm talking about this, we've got to start the pivot away from 2024. We have to start the pivot away from 2024. And if we're going to do it in earnest and we're going to do it in good faith, we've got to be proactive. We can't just be passive sitting around and waiting for the news to come. You are news makers. That internal comms team, you are news makers. So let's figure out internally how we can get on the same page and just say this is the announcement, this is the announcement, this is the announcement, and just laying it all thick out there to give the audience other things to talk about. And again, this cannot be passive. It cannot be, you relying on the broadcasters and just what their internal communications teams are doing to push out their various national selections in their news. There has to be something cultivated from the international standpoint of the EBU team. Now, I am sure y'all have a content calendar. I am positive. I am positive that there is a content calendar, and these eyes are saying, if there are not, then we got to talk. We really got to talk. That's what these eyes are giving in this moment. So I am sure that there is already somewhat of a content calendar. But again, if you're looking at those items on the content calendar and it is pending, oh, what Albania's broadcaster's doing because FEEC is happening, oh, this is like the junior thing, I don't think that that's the right strategy. We've got to have a message of the week. We've got to have a story of the week. And, you're in the business of creating the news. You can create and dictate the news that those of us on this side will just eat and gobble up. So give us a plan. Give us a strategy. Get it approved and run with it. Well, Marty G, welcome to the party. Welcome. It's so great to have you here. And I don't want you to regret this, okay? I don't want you to regret this. So those are just, my 5 things that I think, our new Eurovision Song Contest director should take on immediately. Immediately. But what do I know? I'm just Alesia Michelle. What do you think of my things? Drop down, talk to me in the comments below. Do you agree with some of my ideas? Talk to me in the comments. Do you think this is like the most ridiculous thing? Talk to me in the comments below. I just gave y'all free advice. You got this for free. Okay, I should start charging soon. I'm going to start charging. Yeah, I'm going to start charging. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please like this video. Please do subscribe. I got more content coming for ya. Bye.